Hello and welcome back to that time of the month. It's patch note time. Yes. This month, version 38, April 2015, Atlas Ironcog, did not read it as that the first time, and the Airship Mast. For Clockwork Empires, a Gaslamp Games production. The big part of this one is going to be people actually carrying resources back and forth is quite a big thing. And B, efficiencies of working, and C, this bad boy back here, the Airship Mast. It all determines about whereabouts your items land when they come from the mainland. So get out of that, and here we go. Okay, so there's basically been two blogs which we'll go through, and then the patch notes here. There's been a couple others, but they're not really too much to do with this. I will probably also not mention too much about the actual fixes because there's quite a bit in it. There's not a huge amount compared to normal, but it's got quite a lot of fixes, like very specific things. There's no other mention of it. For instance, certain fixes and that which I've probably never come across myself, so I'll mention them, but they're not exactly that easy to explain, really. So the major features of this one: 7 colonist start, progress bars, faction window, lots of new events, airdrop signalling mast to control drop point of supplies and immigrants. So we'll come across those at some point. Actual specifics: the engine added a flag to executable that should hopefully automatically select NVIDIA cards on multi-GPU Optimus laptops. So some people are having issues with that. That's now been fixed. Doesn't affect me personally, but hopefully that's fixed it for you guys. To fix the beacon, Gabion, etc. Places now show up again, which is good because it was a bit annoying when you tried to actually select them and nothing was coming up. You're like, yeah, has it actually happened or not? Human characters. Sight radius is lowered at night, so they cannot see as far. Naturalists get increased sight radius, so give them that bit of a bonus. Rebalance, idle, wanderer, gossip, waiting. Basically, it's lowered it down, so it's not as high up as before. So we'll try to do other things instead. Added more seed memories to characters upon spawn. Should make more combat morale and behaviour more stable for recent immigrants. So it just basically means there that they kind of add in memories behind the scenes as people who've just arrived, as opposed to having them as completely blank characters. Small grammar fix to memories while sleeping in bed. I think we came across that in one of my videos. Angry citizens may occasionally smash a commodity in anger, which I quite like that. If they are angry, they'll go around and actually just rage and destroy something. Makes sense. People do that here. Makes sense. Cultists will attempt to preach the occult and spread madness. And higher class characters are much more persuasive when recruiting characters of lower classes for cults, which I think is great. So if you do have someone who is maybe an overseer and he's trying to talk to a lower class person, a miner, the miner's more likely to listen to him because to him, the overseer, he's got more sway. He's a boss man. He must know what he's talking about. Added ability to lose a friend, an associated sad memory. I like that because it was a case of if you had a friend, you had a friend. Until they died, you had a friend. So it kind of makes it a bit more. It's a bit more fluid, which is good. Added concept of rivals, enemies to characters. It's just in the framework for now, so it's not really going to do too much. It's not actually implemented as such, but it's just in the back end, so they'll use that probably for a later patch. Added various means for cultists to decide to leave their cult. So same as this leaving thing here is the same, but for a cult. So again, you didn't have people joining a cult and that was it forever. They'll now join a cult and they potentially leave. Cleaned up cult leader death and selection. Will end cult if no one is maddened enough to lead. So which leaves someone who is, you've got maybe 3 or 4 people in the cult, but they're not actually that mad to lead a cult before they would still lead it. Whereas now you just need enough madness to continue leading, which again makes sense. But to be fair, if they leave these, they're probably more likely just to become subordinates of another cult. It's unlikely they're just going to leave and that's that. They'll go back to being normal. They'll probably just join another cult. Adding more character names, always good. Bit of variety. Characters can have origin stories related to their traits and or class, and added many new possibilities, which is good. I'll definitely show that in the next videos that I do. They're going to have more stories, which is really nice. Added a floating starvation warning icon to starving characters, so it really draws your attention. Fixed starvation floating icon will not remain of dead people. Good. Added dress version of freak out animation. Naturalists will go to any explore beacon, no matter how far away they are, which is nice because sometimes they'll just start off and do something else. I think that's also been risen up in the order of priority as more important for them. Colonists, this is a good one. Colonists can tell what class of bed they are sleeping in and have different memories depending on the quality of bed relative to their social class. So I think this could actually help cause a bit of madness. So if you've got a really upper class person and you have them in a lower class bed, they're going to have distressing dreams because it's not what they're used to at all. And you might, I'm not sure if it works the other way, but if you have someone of a very low social class and they do end up in a high class bed, they might have amazing dreams. They might be really, really refreshed the next day. Good addition. Butchering fish people creeps out most people, which is good. Add vicar job to depogram cult members. Deprogram. I don't know what that means. I missed that when I looked through it the first time. Gossip can no longer be interrupted for more gossip. Should fix some of the weird socialization pile-ups. So if someone's already gossiping, there's basically going to be a null object in their code to say this cannot happen again until this one's finished, as opposed to it might be like a time to happen sort of thing, once every 100 seconds for instance, and they might reach it, be talking, and someone else's once to 100 seconds might come in and try and talk to that person, causes a bit of a bug. Tools can now be despawned in place via magical stowing rather than requiring walking to a drop position and performing full animation. Now, try visualising this in my head. So you say you are here with an object, and here's a stockpile. You've got your mining pick over here. Instead of coming over here to drop your mining pick, for instance, or your gun, and come back over here to pick up the clay to come back over here, I think what they say now is you drop it over here, and then you pick up the clay and you walk in. And then the mining pick will be back here, so you pick it up, go there, drop it, pick up the ore, come back. That's brilliant. That's really going to save time. And one of the things behind that, don't think it mentions further on. Yeah, so we'll go to this. One part behind it is this. Smart objects, or everything I know about the AI that I stole from The Sims. A big part of it was basically they had a lot of, it's not really pathing issues, but when they try to pick up an item, the big thing they're going through here is to pick up an item, you've got two options to put it. You can either put it into a stockpile or put it into a container. Now, the way they did the AI, it kind of requested both at times, and it kind of then bugged things out. So they've now made it so that you have a clause of basically I want to move something, and then they have other options which are basically every single option you can do, and then it kind of keeps chucking out information for it. Say I want. It's now just return goods. So instead of being return goods to a stockpile, it's now just return goods. So other things then say I can return goods, I can return goods, I can return goods, and I can return goods. And once one of those is chosen, the other one's just shut up because it's already got the return goods. It's sort of ticked. That's basically what that is. And so I think that helps. This speeds up. This helps speed up part as well. They didn't want the whole. I think that is actually one I've removed accidentally. No, here, stacking containers experiment. So this one was basically what they were saying in this section here was about you mine to get one bit of ore. You bring one bit of ore in. You then need to make the next stage. You need 3 pieces of ore to make the next stage. Then to make the next stage, you need 3 pieces of that item to make this last final item. So you've used 3 for that, 3 for the next one, 3 for the next one. Then you've used 3 of those to make this. So you need 9 bits there. So 9 bits are taken up, then 3 more just to make this one item. That in itself, a bit clunky, right? But then what they said on top of that is that this person here has to go back and forth to drop off the 9. Then they have to go back and forth to pick up the 9. Then they've got to go back and forth to pick up the 3. And then they've got to go back and forth to pick up the 1. So what they're going to do, I don't know if it's actually implemented yet or not, but A is the bit I mentioned before. Oh, where's it gone? The bit I mentioned before is this. So that stops the travelling of unnecessary travelling. It's not really needed as such because you could probably just drop your pick and then go and take the thing back and then come back and pick up your pick, for instance, or drop your gun and pick it up wherever. That's fine. But B, they're going to make it so that if you mine, you can probably pick up say 10 pieces of ore instead and drop off 10 pieces of ore. Come back. It probably won't be 10, but just for instance 10. And then when someone else comes up, they can take 2 or 3 pieces of that ore to then go and make the cog that's needed for the next stage. So they're going to make it so it's more efficient overall to take out less back and forthness. And one part from that, which will probably happen further in, is this 7 colonist start. So to start with, what they're going to do now, instead of having all the people you had before, you're now just going to have 7 overseers. And the reasoning behind that is because they didn't want people to think that there was they had idle colonists. You had an overseer going to do something and they had like 2 people underneath him. But there's only actually 2 things to do. So the overseer and 1 person was actually doing that item, and this 3rd person was standing over here doing absolutely nothing. And new players would sit there thinking, well, something must be wrong. Let's give another job. Let's give another job. Let's give another job. And they'd maybe had 15 jobs, and still only the maximum you can do is 7. So it didn't really help them much in that sense. So what they're doing initially, 7 overseers, 7 jobs. Maximum you can do 7 jobs. If you had an 8th job, they can't do it. And then over time, you add individuals to these to make them more efficient or to do more things. So because of that, they then want to make sure we don't have too much to do. They want to actually make things a bit more efficient. That's the aim of this whole game design science one. Have a read. It's good. It's interesting. See? Very excited by his developments. Well done, R.B. Bergstrom. Good job. Okay. Fixed. Issue in civilization calculation that caused erratic return to civilization behaviours. Various people getting items stuck in their hands, like many times. Occasionally grabbing a social job if you had non-social work you could be doing. Some nonsense. I mean, that's crap. Basically, the social stuff is the last resort. Well, maybe not the last resort. But out of the tier system of what should be done, it should be lower down, because the stuff you see, like, I don't know, farming or eating or sleeping, should come up much higher up than let's have a chat about the occult. So that's been fixed a bit more. Some nonsense with the job mailbox system. Broken name tags. Hey, disappearing name tags on load. Huzzah. Military characters will no longer use specially skilled civilian outfits if Overseer has skill. Good. Characters assigned uniform via office jobs stick to those uniforms correctly. Good, we did actually see that getting changed a few times, that's nice. Militia NCOs no longer revert to civilian form if they have skills. Colonists will now be slightly happier, eating food in chairs rather than standing, that's good. Because there really was no point in having a table and chair. There's no point. But it was nice, there should actually be a point to them, and it's good there is actually going to be some. Combat and military. Added an emote when the military decide to retreat due to low morale. It's good to see. Rather than just see them sort of running away, while they're running away. No, actually gives you an idea. Added new military idle, stand at attention. So you can actually just have them standing here. So you got your bases, also your villages just here. You could have like a group of them just standing to attention here if you think they're going to attack from that direction. Rather than having them stand there and then go to wander off, stand there, wander off. No, just stand to attention. Alarm waypoint will self-delete. Added new military idle. Oh, I think I've actually misread that. I think you've got the same thing as before. We can keep them in a certain place, but now their idle will be standing at attention at times. Alarm waypoint will self-delete if no enemies nearby, which is pretty good. So, you know, before if an enemy hits someone or gets within range of someone, they changed it so that now it is sort of, I just click my mouse there, it pings, and so like a big circle, sort of ping, ping, like a ripple, just pings out to tell people there's danger here. That will now self-delete once everything is dead. So it means instead of it pinging out from here, and then someone over here finally pings against them and they start to run in, that won't happen because by the time it gets to about here, it self-disappears because the enemy is actually dead. Soldiers will grab gun instead of fleeing if both enemy and weapon is in range and morale is high. Lovely. Tweaked how reloading animation was set so civilians who have a long reload time don't look like they are idling. Successfully retreating from enemies will make people, well, not happy really, but slightly less upset at least. That's good. So if you're running for your life and you actually do manage to run for your life, you are a bit happier because you've actually successfully run for your life. Congratulations. Militia was confused about what jobs to take in some cases. That is very true. Invisible soldiers did not see that. Characters end up with 2, 3, 4 or more guns fused onto their hands. We did see that. Added morale feedback to character panel as it pertains to not fleeing from combat. So another big thing they've done is actually try to add a lot more bits and bobs to the UI. Some of them aren't actually shown yet, and some of them don't actually do too much, but it's kind of, I think, for the future. Tea. I'm English, we have to drink tea. Non-human characters. Fixed. Stuff getting weird. Stuff getting really weird with corpses, particularly fish people corpses, after they've moved to another position. Bandits actually respect truce now. It would be a case sometimes where you would actually do the truce. You actually have that option of truce or not truce. You would trucify it up, and they would still attack you, the bastards. Fixed bandit drop flee cycle. That's good because I actually abused that, I guess, in the last one where you would attack and they would basically stand there, keep mining, or they would pick up what they've got, drop it, run a bit, come back to pick it up, drop it, run a bit, come back to pick it up, drop it, run a bit, and yeah, it made it stupidly easy. None of them actually fired and attacked me, so that was a bug. Economy and buildings. Added airships, signaling mast to control airdrop position, only for supply drop right now. So this is what the namesake of this is, Airship Mast. There's now an airship signaling mast. You plop it down where you want around your village, and it's going to control whereabouts your supply drops happen. I think in the future it's also going to control whereabouts new people come in from. So it'll be quite good, and maybe in the future it's going to be a position where bandits could possibly damage it. That's my idea. It's not necessarily something they're dealing with, but I think it would be quite nice if bandits try to attack that if you piss them off enough, so that you have to repair it over time or you cannot receive any extras. That would be nice, I think. Flattened terrain job is now in construction job category. And overseas can now take flattened terrain job. Good job. Overseas can now actually help with that. Gabbing construction changed to civilian job. Farming time now correctly uses farming skill. So from that means that as people get more and more attuned to farming, they go up in skill. It wasn't actually speeding up the time, so that's actually a good thing. Standalone module construction, deconstruction uses tools and construction skill. Same thing as above. Fixed improved understanding of who owns what meat. I never saw people fighting over meat, but okay. Work crew job filters is now automatically flipped to off when a work crew is assigned to a workshop, except hauling. They can be manually re-enabled to allow work crews to work outside the workshop. Ah, brilliant. So you might have seen me actually. It's just a bit odd. I don't know if that was mentioned or if they just saw what I was doing, but when I set someone to a workshop, I was getting a bit fed up with people going off and doing farming, or they were going to do something random. So I try and turn everything off apart from the workshop to get them doing something. So that is actually now automatic. When someone does workshop, everything else is automatically turned off. Tweaked for farming, tweaked values for prioritising the maintenance of existing plants over planting of new ones and removal of dead ones. Ah, lovely. Again, we don't really know what the tweak is. I didn't actually explain that there. I thought what it was saying is that we actually get a slider. We can move the slider to sort of set the prioritisation, which would be nice if you're listening. That would be good, yeah. Fix characters getting stuck in ghost modules. Framework for containing smart objects. The smart objects thing, that is to do with what I said before, which is now gone. That was the first thing I talked about. That was the whole smart objects thing. That is this, smart objects. That is this whole thing about dropping, moving. The way they're going to deliver things is basically it. It's a whole scripty thing. You can read through it. It's on their front page. It's on the April the 15th one. There wasn't one earlier, but the guy that wrote it, let's just quickly find it. He was a bit, I think, sleep deprived. Yeah, this is the one about the air mast. Oh, about the air mast. It's Nicholas was a bit. Have a cold today and feeling a bit weird. Also, the office is a little quiet. He then goes on a rant, which is actually quite good. It kind of is like about the work, but it's also very much about him and being odd and randomness and Rydash, and then just things being in weird places, and he's just weird, and ends it with "Please send help." So, as I say, you've finally gone mad. Someone get the loud bug out. Other people are just. It was quite a funny little post. I don't know if it was drunk on cold medicine, I think, but it was a nice read, but not quite relevant to what I'm trying to talk about here. Biomes and terrain balance. No live fish people should appear in immediate vicinity of a tropical game start. Yay! Fed up. I actually stopped doing tropical for a bit because I was fed up of that happening. It happened pretty much 80-90% of the time I tried, so that's good. Added clay and stone near-ish to starting spots. That's good too, because the basic things you need are clay, stone, food, and timber. Those things should be around the starting area. Like, that should be a mandatory thing. And then, as you get outside a certain area, you get the rarer things, and outside a certain area, rarer things. There should be also be randomization, but the things you definitely need, you should be nearby, because you would not set up camp next to a place that has no timber at all, or no clay at all. Why would you be setting up camp there? These people have chosen to set up camp in this place, so it has to make sense. Events, metagame, and the overworld. Implemented 7 dwarfs mode because YOLO, and I've already gone through that one. Is there anything else I need to say? I don't think there is. No. I've gone through that already. Balance, reduce starting resources to counter that, because you don't use as many resources now as fewer people. It's also to make it so you've got more of a specific route to take. Added guaranteed muskets to start game start. All events now have a default choice timeout, so it'll eventually proceed whether or not you react to them, which is good, because some of them were things like someone's going to attack you, should you allow it or not, and you could just ignore it, which I do in other games, which you should not be able to do. Attached all airdrop and immigration events to airdrop Mast if player has one active. Population below 5 bailout changed to population below 3 bailout, because the previous system encouraged murdering people for free bonus civilians. All that means is that I can't remember what it was called, the overlordy people, the Empire, would bail you out with people if you had too few. So if obviously you got too much under attack, if you got killed, far too many people got killed. If it went below 5, they would send it in, and what it basically meant is that you would try and actually murder people to bring it down below 5 to get some extra people in if you didn't like the people you had. Whereas now moved to 3, because if you get down to 3, you don't really want to be going below 3. You don't have 2 people. It's a bit crap. Fixed script error in Bandits Offer Plunder event. Clarified effect in flavor text. Colonist finds overlooked supplies. Event has ticker text for items received and other minor improvements. That's good. So it tells you actually found some stuff. It tells you what you found. Small optimizations. Red Coat's favourite NCO now always starts with a pistol. Fix an error. Events give randomized events. Added event for Bandit to defect a player's car. Oh, that's nice. So a bandit can actually defect to us. Very, very nice. New event, Hale and Hearty Colonist overcomes affliction. New prestige favour, food shipment. New event, gain rewards for hitting certain population levels. I thought that happened in the last one I tried. Yeah, I certainly I hit a population level. I think it was 20 or something, and it said, "Congratulations, here, have this." I think it was either a prestige or it could just be a random item. I can't remember now, but we definitely got reward last time, and it happened whilst I couldn't reward it because it went all wrong. Added event to give 1 prestige for day for surviving. That's quite nice. So you can always get prestige no matter what. It does mean you can then tell them to go away when they say, "Do you want people? Do you want people?" You can actually say, "No, just clear off. I don't want to," because now you actually have another way of getting prestige, which is nice because it was basically give me those 3 people to gain prestige. New event, doing paperwork reveals extra supplies that weren't recorded. That's cool. New event, commoners feel understood by sympathetic aristocrat. So as you can see, a lot of the flavour text we're adding in here is really just it's these events that kind of keep things going, adds a bit of flavour to actually what you're doing. It gives you extra options. That's one thing you need to remember. This is not in beta yet. It's still pre-beta, so there's going to add a lot of these things as we go along, which is why some things do seem quite empty. It's because it's meant to at the moment. They're adding the flavour now. This is what you get pre-beta, and then in beta you get the extra real chunky stuff that people love. Fixed. Dead people will no longer send ministry investigators after you. Oh, I know what it is. These bits I think are actually part of the alpha version. I think it was the which one was this? 38? Yeah, I think 37A or 37B had these bits in, a couple of these bits, and they've added them. They always add all the patch notes into 38, so they force everyone to have 37A or 37B. I think it's 37A. They're adding it here because that was definitely there as well. Where do we go? Economy of buildings, metagame. Fixed, non-deleting science crates. And added fun dig icons to digger reports for science crates. Don't think I actually got any of those, lovely. Balance increased bandit event timers, so they don't happen as often. And fixed is day, wasn't set to true on birthday. Multiplayer as ever, move over. Music and sound. Added music cues to events and nightfall. UI and UX. So, they've changed the UI quite a bit. They've added extra little bits here and there, which is, again, more flavour than anything else. Added framework for cute progress bars for jobs. First case, tree chopping. That's why I left the other one open. You might have seen it on the woman. There. A progress bar now for chopping trees. Well, that's actually for mining, but chopping trees at the moment is there. Hopefully there'll be other things. Well, there definitely will be other things, just wait for that to come in. Added progress bars to farming, added progress bars to construction job. Framework for cute progress bars for jobs, but then added it to farming and construction jobs. Okay. Added new Daniel name tag zoom system. Do not know what it is. The contextual module tutorial appearing more than once. Upgraded the old food icon upgraded the old food icon to not be all pixelated. For me it was fine, so I know what that one's about. Changing around the size of work crew subpanel for more efficient use of space. Fixed slowdown job menu item with lots of gap in jobs. UI workshop button removed from work job crew filters. Work crew job filters. Assignment to workshop implies workshop filter active. That's pretty cool. So if they're there, you just imply active, it makes it happen effectively, just turns it on. Fix pumpkin and cabbage stew icons and yellow cup fungus bushel, and fix some incorrect smelter icons. See, to me, these things were fine. I don't know if they came up after maybe 37B or something, because I don't usually install the A's and B's and C's, but it was fine for me. Removing a farm now closes its control window if it's open. Memories now use specified icon skin strings. More icons possible for memories will fix them if there's more memories. Fixed laudanum and other drinks not showing up in commodities window, and tutorial updated refining tutorial to reference metalworks as place to refine ore. So as you can see, that the main reason things have changed really is you start off with a lot less people now. There's going to be some progress bars. Factions. There's actually a factions window. I don't think I covered it. I didn't mention that in here. I noticed. Lots of new events. And lots of new events. No, they're just going to keep adding these. Going to keep on just spread these in, which is nice. Airdrop signaling master control drop point of supplies and immigrants. So I think this is more of a flavour. There's a few bug fixes, but not really as many as they normally do. But a lot of the ones that came in are actually ones specifically that I did see, which is good. And then there's obviously the ones in the back end which just are completely random. You have no idea why it happened, but it happened. And these things here, they just add flavour to the system. No major changes, but I think it's good. This is probably the big major change, but other than that, I think it's a good update. And I might do one. I've got a holiday coming up actually, so I might not. But this one actually does look more of an interesting one to do. But if not, I'll definitely be there for 39. But we'll see. Let me know what you think, and yeah, remember to thumbs up, subscribe, and get the bloody game. See you next time. Bye bye.